Science isn't just facts, it's stories. What do rocket launches, MRI scans, and squeaky chipmunk karaoke all have in common? Helium, the element that makes balloons float, your voice ridiculous, and, oh yeah, literally keeps the sun burning. Not bad for something humanity mostly wastes at birthday parties. Helium is element number 2 on the periodic table, right after hydrogen. It's famous for party balloons and squeaky voices. But helium is secretly one of the most valuable and irreplaceable resources on Earth. Without it, doctors couldn't scan your brain. Rockets couldn't leave Earth. And clowns would have to find a new party trick. So today, let's explore the full story of helium. How it was discovered in the sun before Earth. Why it's the ultimate oddball of the periodic table. And how humanity is basically throwing it away, one balloon at a time. Helium holds the strange honor of being the first element discovered off-world. Think about that for a second. The first time we found helium wasn't here, it was in the sun. In 1868, astronomers watched a solar eclipse. They noticed a mysterious yellow line in sunlight, something no known element produced. So they announced a brand new element. And since it came from the sun, they named it helium, after Helios, the Greek god of the sun. Yes, helium was literally named after a giant fireball in the sky. Now imagine being that scientist at a meeting. I found a new element. It's in the sun. No, you can't see it. No, you can't touch it. Just trust me. That's not just science, that's confidence. It wasn't until 1895 that William Ramsay isolated helium on Earth from a mineral called clevite, finally proving this wasn't just sun dust, it was real. And Ramsay didn't stop there. He also discovered neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. The man was basically the Pokemon master of noble gases. Now that we know how it was discovered, let's talk about why helium is such a weirdo. It's the second lightest element. It refuses to bond with anything. Completely non-reactive. At absolute zero, helium still won't freeze unless you crank up enormous pressure. It's basically the couch potato of elements. Helium is that friend who comes to the party, floats around a bit, and then vanishes without explanation. And honestly, we all know someone like that. But here's where it gets truly bizarre. At super cold temperatures, helium becomes a superfluid. It flows without friction. It climbs walls. It even leaks out of sealed containers by crawling up and over the sides. That's not just weird, that's nightmare fuel for every lab intern trying to keep it in a jar. Helium doesn't just ignore gravity, it ignores physics entirely. If helium were a student, it'd be the kid climbing onto the school roof at lunch, just because the rules said not to. And everyone else is too impressed or too confused to stop him. Most people only know helium for two things: floating balloons and squeaky voices. But helium's serious uses are way more impressive. And honestly, kind of heroic. Take medicine, for example. MRI machines rely on helium to cool their superconducting magnets. Without helium, doctors couldn't see inside your brain. Imagine walking into the hospital for a scan, and the receptionist says, "Sorry, no helium, so I guess you're out of luck." That's how important this gas really is. Rockets also depend on helium. It pressurizes and purges fuel tanks, making launches possible. No helium, no space travel. No moon landings. No Mars missions. Just billionaires stuck launching bottle rockets in their backyards. Now picture explaining that to Elon Musk. Sorry, sir, your rocket is grounded because Timmy needed his birthday balloons. Then there's deep-sea diving. Divers mix helium with oxygen to avoid nitrogen narcosis. Without it, exploring the ocean would feel less like science and more like bad decision-making. If you thought helium made your voice squeaky on land, imagine scuba divers trying to sound intimidating while exploring shipwrecks. Release the treasure or else in chipmunk voice. Not exactly terrifying. And don't forget electronics. Helium plays a role in cryogenics and semiconductor manufacturing. So yes, your smartphone owes helium a thank you card. Helium is working overtime, saving astronauts, scanning brains, powering microchips, and we still treat it like cheap party fuel. That's like hiring Einstein to twist balloon animals. Actually, he'd probably be great at it. But still, you get the point. Here's the real problem. Helium is running out. When helium escapes into the atmosphere, it doesn't hang around. It just keeps floating until it leaves Earth's gravity completely. Gone forever. That's like opening your wallet on a windy day. Once it's gone, good luck getting it back. On Earth, we don't make helium. We mine it from natural gas reserves. In the early 1900s, the US even built a helium reserve, thinking airships were the future. Spoiler alert, they weren't. But that stockpile lasted for decades, until it was privatized and sold off. Now shortages are real. Prices are climbing. Scientists are worried. And meanwhile, Timmy is still demanding a giant SpongeBob balloon for his birthday. Future historians won't ask, why did Rome fall? They'll ask, why did humanity run out of helium? And the answer will be, because someone really wanted a 12-foot balloon arch for prom. Think about that. Humanity's best doctors and engineers, outsmarted by helium balloons. Time for some rapid-fire helium facts you can drop at parties. Helium was discovered in space before Earth. It makes up 25% of the universe, second only to hydrogen. On Earth, it's rare, less than a fraction of a percent of our atmosphere. Sound travels almost 3 times faster in helium than air, which is why your voice gets squeaky. Fun fact, breathe in too much and you'll feel lightheaded. Because oxygen is still important. Helium balloons deflate quickly because the atoms are so tiny they slip right through. And helium is also used in weather balloons, airships, and particle accelerators. So yes, helium is rare, expensive, life-saving. And yet we use it to keep cartoon balloons floating for 6 hours. So where does helium actually come from? The answer, stars. Inside stars, hydrogen atoms smash together under insane pressure and temperature. They fuse into helium. That reaction is what powers the stars, including our sun. Every sunrise you've ever seen? That's hydrogen turning into helium. Forget Starbucks. Helium fusion is the universe's real energy drink. And it doesn't even cost $6. And when the sun eventually runs out of hydrogen, it will start fusing helium into heavier elements like carbon and oxygen. So helium isn't just keeping stars alive, it's how the universe builds everything else. Without helium, you wouldn't be here. Neither would cats, or pizza, or Marvel movies. So basically, no fun at all. Here's the paradox. Helium is both hilarious and seriously important. On one hand, it's the life of the party. Balloons, squeaky voices, and funny YouTube shorts. On the other hand, it's so rare and essential that without it, medicine, space exploration, and modern electronics would collapse. And yet, what do? We waste it on balloon arches and party decorations. Civilization won't end because of giant disasters. We'll run low on helium because toddlers wanted unicorn balloons. Let that sink in for a moment. So next time you see a helium balloon float into the sky, remember, it's not just a balloon. It's a piece of one of Earth's most precious resources, drifting away forever. Helium is more than party gas. It's a cosmic gift, a scientific workhorse, and proof that sometimes the lightest elements carry the heaviest importance. If hydrogen was dramatic, helium is irreplaceable.